This is Jack, and I'm continuing. Okay, so I was where Anu went to the Atlanteans, presenting himself as a acceptable presentation for the Atlanteans, because the Atlanteans personally, they weren't a judgmental race. They were pretty much I enjoyed them personally. I enjoyed visiting them. They didn't have much visitors, you know. There was no such thing as beings visiting other planets for odd reasons. It was either specific. It was either specific to learn. I mean, that's what Sacha basically also did. She had a kind of like a learning establishment in a library for the children. She trained specific children for specific races to a specific cause, which is, for instance, the planet itself had kings and queens and lords and fucking gods and goddesses, you know, depending on what the race's expression was. And she was in charge of tutoring the children of their particular race, and she did that with mainly all the planets. And then she'd take the children in the dimensions. I wouldn't call it children. I'd call it child expressions around in the universes to the planets, and you know, to kind of make them aware of what exists. You know, no conflict existed per se then. It was just for each his own. Each planet had its expression. Usually when they wanted to learn or find out something new or ask advice, they'd go to other planets, and you know, so it existed. It was nothing big. And the change came in the moment of change, long before that though, but from this point, was when Anu said, you know, I have to obtain some gold. When his planet was in trouble. That's where everything started changing. And so Anu went to the Atlanteans. He presented them with their problem. And they said, well, here is an interesting thing. There is actually what he is speaking of in the Earth's core. And of course, Anu was immediately excited. And he presented them with a proposal. He said, okay, show me. So first the Atlanteans had shown Anu what exactly the lava and the basically what exists underneath the Earth's core, ground, crust, I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. Now during that time you're able to see interdimensionally as well. Specifically it's like an X-ray, but a very specific X-ray to take. And you're able to look through anything and everything to find if it is habitable. Of course planets required to be habitable even during that time. But still take into consideration that everything was not yet as physical as it is now. It was more formidable, flexible, yet stable. The actual manifestation of 3D happened quite a while ago. Okay, but I'll get there as well. So, Anu was, of course, pleased. Because here is a manifestation of that exact place where he had previously and his race gotten the gold from. So, Anu asked him the following. Am I able to move my planet here. The Atlanteans, of course, had to consider this because it's never been done before. Each one has their own planet, and that's it. No one has ever come up with a question like that in terms of asking for help from a perspective of, I need to actually inhabit your planet with you. And so they said, okay, what may be under the ground, near the Earth's core, is the place where you're able to develop your gold from. Your planet itself, however, must be in the universe. Because then they still believe that if other beings actually inhabit another's planet, their essences will infuse into one, and it will be like a mating, a mating experience where another race will start developing. So they refrained from actually having two different races remain on one planet. Because in terms of how it existed in the galaxies and the universes then, was that everything was one, meaning the following. One planet with one race, with one universe and one galaxy. And that was all one in their complete expression. And then you had a different planet, with a different race, with a different galaxy and a different universe, and that was all one for them. But even in that oneness, everything was separate, in massive separation. And that's when there was like this believed prophecy or something that if two races would dare exist on one planet, that they would design and create another race, and therefore it was like the law of existence. And there were laws. There were laws. But they were like the unspoken laws that everyone knew and abided by. And so Anu agreed. Now him with his few beings in the Anunnaki race moved to Earth. Now they had then themselves here under the Earth's crust, near the core, where they of course then established all the necessary utensils and designs to now distribute their gold. Okay, this is me, Jack. I'll continue with how exactly they distribute their gold and manifest gold.